Hey everyone. So, if you've ever thought there has to be a smarter way to invest than just, picking a few stocks that seem hot, then you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to dive into how you can build a truly optimized portfolio. And we're going to do that by moving from pure guesswork to a full-blown and Nobel Prize winning strategy. This is really the big question for any investor, right? How do you squeeze out the best possible return for the least amount of risk? It sounds super complicated, I know, but we're about to break it down and show you exactly how it's done. You know, it really wasn't that long ago that building a solid portfolio meant you were drowning in spreadsheets, doing all this manual math, and let's be honest, a lot of it was just guesswork. But that has totally changed. Now, we're in an era where this whole process is automated, it's driven by proven financial theory, and it's all focused on one thing: optimization. So what's the big secret behind this shift? Well, it's not just about having better software. It's actually a groundbreaking, Nobel Prize-winning idea that completely changed how we think about investing. This is the aha moment, the core concept that makes all of this possible. And right at the heart of it all is something called the Markowitz model, or modern portfolio theory. The big idea is actually pretty simple. For whatever level of risk you're comfortable with, there is one single, mathematically perfect mix of assets that will give you the absolute highest possible return. Think about it like this. Say you own stock in an umbrella company and an ice cream company. One does great when it rains, the other when it's sunny. This model finds the perfect balance between the two, so your whole portfolio is designed to grow more steadily, no matter what the weather's like. It's not about avoiding risk, it's about getting paid for the risk you take. Okay, that sounds amazing, right? But it also sounds like you might need a PhD in finance to actually pull it off. So the question is, how do we get all that power without having to do any of the insane math? Well, here's the answer. This is the Stocks 2 Buy app. It's the tool that does all of that heavy lifting for you, and it puts that incredible Nobel-winning model right in the palm of your hand. And the process? It's surprisingly simple. Just two main steps. Think of it like you're a chef. First, you've got to find your ingredients. That's screening for the right stocks. Then you create the perfect recipe by mixing those ingredients in just the right way. And that's building your portfolio. All right, let's dive into step 1, finding your stocks. This is where we go out and find the best possible ingredients that are going to form the foundation of our portfolio. Now, the most important thing here is that this whole thing starts with you. It's not some generic one-size-fits-all formula. It all kicks off with your personal investment style and exactly how much risk you're comfortable with. For example, using the web screener, you can get really specific. Maybe you want to find large, stable companies, so you'd set a filter for a market cap over, say, $10 billion. Or maybe you want lower volatilities, so you can set the beta to be less than 1. You set your filters, and boom, the tool instantly gives you a list of stocks that fit your exact criteria. So the screener gives you this awesome curated list, but you are still in the driver's seat. You can go through, check out each stock's key analytics, look at its fundamentals, review its price charts, and from there, you get to handpick the ones you want to move forward with. Okay, so you've got your ingredients. Now it's time for the magic. Let's move on to step 2, building that perfectly optimized portfolio. This is where we create the recipe. And this is where all the really heavy lifting happens. But the best part is, you don't have to do any of it. You just take your chosen stocks, pop them into the portfolio builder, and the tools engine just completely takes over, running all those complex calculations in the background. So what is actually happening behind the curtain? Well, it's running that Markowitz optimization we talked about. A huge part of this is figuring out how all your different stocks move in relation to each other. Which ones tend to zig when the others zag. By analyzing all those relationships, the tool can find the single best allocation, the absolute optimal weights for your portfolio. So, after all that complex math is done, what do you actually get? Well, you get a clear, simple, and incredibly powerful blueprint for your investments. This is where it all comes together. And here it is, the final output. The tool doesn't just hand you a list of stocks. It gives you the exact recipe. It tells you precisely how much to put into each one, 25% here, 15% there, and so on. This isn't a gut feeling. This is the mathematically perfect allocation for your specific stocks. And it doesn't stop there. The tool also gives you the vital stats for your new portfolio. You'll see its expected return and its expected volatility, which is just a fancy way of measuring risk. And see that last line, on the efficient frontier? That's the gold stamp. That is the confirmation that your portfolio is perfectly optimized. You literally cannot get a better return for that specific level of risk. So what you're left with is so much more than just a random collection of stocks. You have a cohesive portfolio built on a Nobel Prize-winning theory and tailored specifically to you. This gives you an incredible amount of clarity and, frankly, the confidence to invest smartly. But wait, your work isn't quite done yet. Once you have your blueprint, it's time to actually invest. And here's a pro tip. Markets are always changing, right? So you should come back and rerun the optimization every so often to keep your portfolio perfectly tuned. Think of it as a living strategy, not just a one-and-done setup. And this really sums it all up perfectly. The goal is simple. Find stocks that are a good fit for you, and then use a proven, powerful model to build an intelligent, efficient portfolio. It's the perfect blend of your personal style and pure mathematical power. All of this leads to a really fascinating question, though. We've just seen how technology can take a once incredibly complex financial theory and make it accessible to everybody. So, with professional-grade tools like this now in everyone's hands, what do you think is the next big barrier in investing that's going to come crashing down? It is a very exciting time to be an investor. Thanks for tuning in for this explainer.